Hi guys, welcome back to the last segment of the show. So we're just gonna do a quick recap and then answer a few questions just so that we tie up everything that we've kind of looked at with the previous lessons as well. So that's all that we're going to do now, and then wrap up this concept and see exactly what is financial mathematics, especially growth and decay. So let's just look at it. So far, remember that our big idea has been finance, and then so far we've looked at simple interest, we've looked at straight line depreciation, we've looked at compound interest, and we've also looked at the reducing balance. You just need to remember that the equation for compound growth is given by that, and our definitions of all the letters will be A is an accumulated, P is the principal, I will be the interest, and then N will be number of times interest is earned. Please remember, not necessarily the number of years, because we're dealing with compound growth. It's the number of times you are getting the interest in the duration of your investment. Now, the formula to convert between the nominal and the effective interest rate, just a quick recap. Remember, it is given by that. And then our definition is I effective is the effective annual, and then I norm is the nominal, and then M is the compounding period. Now, let's just look at a few questions and see exactly what all of this ties up to. Now, the value of a vehicle worth 200,000 depreciates at the interest that is 12% per annum, and the principal amount or the present value when you bought that the vehicle was 200,000. After 5 years, you need to calculate what the value of the vehicle is going to be if the depreciation is according to the reducing balance method. Remember, guys, you will be told what method we are dealing with if it's a depreciation. Even if it's a just simple interest or compound interest, you will be told what we are dealing with so that you know what is it that you need to do. Now, these are all the things that I have. Let me just change my pen. The principal amount is 200,000. My interest is 12% on a reducing balance. You specify which method are we using, and then this was for 5 years. So to calculate this, remember you start with the formula y1 minus I to the exponent of n, and then my p-value is the 200,000 into 1 minus my I is 12%, so that's 0.12, and then this is to the exponent of 5. Please remember that there is no compounding period when you talk about depreciation. Now, if you go back, okay, I hate this. Now it was the calculator. Please just count me down. Yeah. Right, so if you go to our calculator here, you can then see that we're going to have the 200,000, which is what we are dealing with, and that's the value of the vehicle. 1 minus, the interest is at 12% to the exponent of 5. And then the value after 5 years is going to be 105,546, right? So this is going to be 105,000, let's just verify the values, 546 rands, and a couple of cents there. So you will then conclude, therefore, the value of the vehicle will then be. But remember, they just said calculate. At times you conclude when they ask you, what will this be? How much will it be? But if I just say calculate, remember, you just need to calculate and give me my answer. Another question. So Ziad buys equipment worth 80,000 for his business, right? So he's starting a business, and then he goes to the shop, and they say to him, no, you will need to spend 80,000 for all the equipment that you need. It might be a logistic company, so it might be computers or anything of that sort. But now he plans to sell the equipment at a depreciated value after using it for 42 months. So remember, we said depreciation is on a yearly basis, but here they're giving it to us on a monthly basis. So you will need to first convert how many years are in 42 months. All right, so depreciation is calculated at 20% per annum on the reducing balance. Now what we want to know is, what can he sell the equipment for? Because after all, remember, to sell the equipment, it does not necessarily mean that he's just selling it because the business is not there anymore. But it might be to want to renovate, and then now I have more clients, so I need maybe a faster equipment or a better equipment. So what we then know here is P is the 80,000, I is the 20% reducing balance, and then N is the 42 months. So 42 months is the same as 3 years, which will then be the 36 months, and then I'm going to be left with 6 months, which is actually going to be 0.5. So it's going to be 3.5. Now remember that 3.5 in financial maths is there. Now, one thing, guys, that I always see people doing is, I say, how many times will you multiply this by, or how many people are there? And then somebody will write the answer as 2.5. Now, I never understand that. If you say 2.5, do you mean there is 2 people and then the other person is half? Because then that's what it will mean. But with this, because we're talking about numbers, if I say 2.5, 3.5, I'm saying it's 3.5, right? So if it's 3 years and a half, so it means it's 3 years and 6 months. So it does make sense here to actually have comma something. But if I say how many are these, then you know you will need to make sure that you understand the context of the numbers that you're writing. I just thought that's one of the things that is interesting we normally hear people say. Now, what we're trying to do is to find A as well, and this will be equals to the 80,000 into 1 minus, my interest is 0.2, and this is to the exponent of 3.5. Remember, please, you do not use the months here, you use the 0.5. So this is going to be 80,000, yes, and this is 800 actually, so 80,000 into 1 minus 0.2 to the exponent of 3.5, and this will give me 36,635, right? So this will be 36,635, and how many cents will this be? And 74 cents. And 74 cents. So this is how much then the person will sell their equipment for. So it might be that this is not really enough, but that will be the money they will get, and then maybe they will need to top it up to get a better equipment at a later stage. Now, Thomas actually bought a printer for 4,500 and sold it 3 years later for an amount of 1,200. What was the annual rate of depreciation if the reducing balance method was used? So here, what we're going to look at is, we want the value of I. So this is A is equals to P into 1 minus I to the exponent of N, right? So this is 1,200. Remember that A is always less than P when we talk about depreciation. And this will be 4,500 into 1 minus, not plus. So this will be 1 minus I, which I do not know, and this is to the exponent of 3. So on a calculator, quickly, if I substitute this, I will divide both sides by the 4,500. So divide by 4,500, I get that. And then I will need to say 1 minus the answer. I get that. Oh, before we get to the 1 minus the answer, so I will say plus 1. What's happening here? So let's just do that quickly again. 1,200 divided by 4,500 is equals to that. I will need to take the 6th root of this, so I had made that mistake there. Please pay attention to those things. And then I would need to say 1 minus my answer, and that will give me that. You multiply this by 100, it means that's 19.77%. So I will be 19.77%. Now, these other questions, I would really like you guys to look at them and then try them at home. So Thabo sells his business for that amount when he is 32 years old. Now, the goal here is to know how old will he be when he decides to do certain things. He decides to save the money for his retirement, right? Then he deposits the money into a pension fund where the interest that is earned is 14% compounded annually. Calculate how much he's going to have when he is 65. So automatically you know that it's when after 33 years. So you will need to do that. And also, one last question that you will need to also please look at is, if they say a car rental company buys a fleet of cars at a cost of 3.2 million, you need to calculate the book value. Remember, book value will be the depreciated value. If the interest is 16% per annum on a reducing balance, you will always be told. I will keep on emphasizing. Then lastly, calculate the cost of replacing the cars at the end of 5 years. So guys, so far, what we've actually looked at, you need to know that with compound decay, it's always on an annual basis. It has nothing to do with a monthly basis or anything like that. But our main big idea has been finance. We've looked at simple interest, straight line depreciation, compound depreciation, and now we've just looked at our reducing balance. So guys, in everything that you do, you need to understand what method are you using. Is it simple interest or compound interest? They specifically tell you. Is it decay? If it's decay, is it straight line or reducing balance? And then you also need to look at how to convert between a nominal and an effective interest rate. Guys, that's all from me. Until we meet again.